Girl, I don't know who said aging gracefully is the way to go. I'm here to tell you, aging is trauma. They don't want you to know, but that's why people be running from the shit with Botox and everything, because shit be dropping, then you can't use it anymore. You be struggling with the loss of mobility and other kinds of abilities that you had when you was younger, and then your world gets smaller because people be like passing away or moving away, your children moving away, ain't nobody got time for you no more. But I'm not gonna be aging gracefully. Just so you know, aging is trauma. So I'm going to be whining all the way out. All the way, girl. Don't let nobody blow no smoke up your ass. Aging is trauma.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
One thing I will say about getting older is I used to be able to pull all-nighters like it was nothing. I got 2 hours of sleep last night and I feel like I have the flu. I feel like I'm going to die. I'm seeing wrinkles on my face that were never there before just because I had one night where I didn't sleep. You can't, I don't know, can you guys do that? Because I can't do that anymore.
So does anybody else feel the way that I feel, which is exhausted all the time? I don't know what is going on with me. This lip gloss is already making me feel better. This is the e.l.f. Glow Reviver Lip Oil. And you can wear this alone or over another color. I'm actually putting it over a Super Boost from, somebody. I don't really know who. I don't know. I got this at Sephora. Got this Ulta. I don't know. But anyways, they're already making me feel better. But is anybody else just feel exhausted? Like, for no reason? I've been sleeping a lot. Like, 11 hours a night. So, is there something going around, like sleepitis or something? Anyways, I hope you all have the best, almost said the fabulous, the best, I don't know, whatever, I can't talk today, the best day. Let me know if anybody else is just feeling, like exhausted dog mom, just like me, but I hope you have the best day. And, look out for a post from me tonight. I gotta say thank you.
It's crazy to think about how I have so much less energy now than I did when I was younger. Like, I'm in my early 20s, I'm not even old, but I can give you a really clear example. When I was growing up, I was a swimmer, okay? And so when I was in high school, I had morning practice. So several days a week, I would wake up at 4 a.m. I literally set my alarm for 3:58 so that I could be out of bed at 4. I would go to practice, then go to school all day, then go to practice again after school. Obviously, I was tired when I was doing that, but like, it was very doable. When I went to college, I was still swimming, but morning practice was much later. I think I was waking up at like 5:15, 5:20, and I would still go to classes during the day and then have practice at night, but it's like you have breaks between classes, so I could take a nap when I had morning practice. And I just remember in college being so much more exhausted than in high school, even though I was getting more sleep. Then I graduated and started working at a bank, and I was working like 11, 12-hour days, and I was 5 days a week in person in the office. I'd be like, oh, swimming prepared me for this. Like, I'd be up early, work an 11-hour day, then go to the gym for 2 hours at night. So again, tiring, but it was totally doable. And now here I am at my big old age, and I'm working an 8 to 5 fully remote, and I'm like, how did I used to do any of that? Like, working fewer hours than before, no obligations from doing multiple practices a day, more flexibility than ever before from being fully remote. It's like, on paper, I should have more energy than ever, but I'm more tired than ever. Now, this is probably depression related, and I've known that in the back of my mind for like years, but also maybe I'm just getting old. I don't know.
Being tired and in pain isn't an inevitable part of aging. You can get older and still feel good. This came out of a conversation I had earlier this week, which for many reasons was absolutely fabulous. But this like one comment really stuck with me, of this belief that it was just an inevitable part of aging, that you're going to get really tired and achy and just like not feel good. And I'm saying this as a 45-year-old who feels significantly better than I did when I was 25. When I was 25, I was in absolute pain all day long. I had shooting pain down my hands. I had uncontrolled inflammation, and I was so foggy, I forget what day of the week it was and where I was going. Today at 45, I don't have any pain. I am clear. I have my body is a little different than it used to be, but in general, it's still functioning well. And I see this in 90-year-olds who still have beautifully functioning bodies. And there are diagnoses that are out of our control. Like if you're diagnosed with something like arthritis, especially rheumatoid arthritis, some autoimmune conditions, they come with pain, or physical issues like your back discs are out. Those we have less control over. But that generalized tired and achiness, yeah, it's not inevitable. So if you're not feeling as great as you feel you would like to, this might be a time to reach out to a practitioner that can help you kind of get to the core root of things. Your blood work might be fine. There might be not be anything diagnosable, but you might still be able to feel better with just these tiny little tweaks. Maybe a couple little food changes, a couple little lifestyle changes can give you your energy back. And wouldn't that be amazing? So reach out to me. I'm a registered holistic nutritionist. There's also naturopaths, functional medicine doctors, osteopathic doctors. There's many different forms of alternative medicine that can help kind of get to those core root issues and find just balance in your life. Just try it out and see how you like it.
I want to know, like, honestly, like, is anybody else just absolutely drained? Like, my hair is like a mess. I'm tired. It's only like my second day. I am so tired. I'm so tired. And I'm 31. I'm not even close to retirement. Like, how, like, there has to be other people going through this. I mean, I've obviously seen videos. I don't live under a rock, but like this economy and like what's going on, this is like scary. Like, I work so much and so hard, but I'm still not comfortable. Like, I'm still like, I'm so tired. It's like being in a literal hamster wheel. Monday, Friday, Saturday, Monday, Friday, Saturday. Like,
you know what I'm so sick and tired of? People in their 30s and 40s calling themselves old, wondering what they're going to do with their life, with their time, and just aging themselves way too early. Do we realize that it's actually a privilege to get old and to age and have time to live your life and do things and explore and travel? Why are we selling ourselves short and giving up so fast? Just because there's a younger generation that exists and we're no longer the youngest adults in the room. One day, if you have the privilege, you're going to actually be old. And you're going to look back on your life and say, damn, I was young. I should have went for that opportunity. I should have done that thing. I should have tried that new hobby, whatever. Why don't we live our lives and be grateful for where we're at today? The versions of us 50 years from now are going to kill to be back in our positions now.
It's the end of 2024, and I will say that the year went by really fast. And my question is, for anyone that's getting older, basically, or as you age, do you notice that the concept of time moves faster and faster each and every year? I noticed that because a lot of the people that I grew up watching in movies or television are passing away. Relatives, family members are passing away as I get older, and it's a sad bit of realization, but it's also a part of life. So I don't know, let me know what you think.
I am not okay. Do you see it? I have to pluck nose hairs for the first time today. Life comes at you fast, you know? Gross! Ow. How long has it been there?
The worst part of growing older is watching your parents age and get much older. I remember them being young and vibrant. I remember when my mom turned 30. I remember when my dad turned 40. I was a teenager. And then, of course, over the last few years, I've seen my dad and mom both age as mom became the caregiver for dad. And dad went through, one too many surgeries and complications and just, and mom just got wrinkles on her arms and her skin, on her face. And then dad eventually, being so weak and on oxygen, and he passed away a few weeks ago. What a privilege. What a privilege. And I'm grateful I had the time I had with my parents, but it also absolutely freaking sucks. Grief sucks. Living with grief, when you lose someone you love and care for, it's very different. I've experienced grief, when I got divorced decades ago, or when I lost a job, or, when COVID, right? But losing a loved one to death, even though I had so much time, I was so grateful that I had so much time with mom and dad, and mom's still very much alive, thank God, but dad, right, got enough time to say goodbye, but that doesn't make it easy. I can't imagine what it's like for those of you who've lost your loved ones suddenly and didn't have an opportunity to say goodbye. I had plenty of opportunities. Grief sucks. But grief, it's a blessing, and I'm grateful for it because it just shows me the capacity and the depth with which I loved and I still love. it's incredible to experience. I understand grief as a therapist from a psychological standpoint. As a spiritual teacher, I understand death and dying from a spiritual standpoint. But that didn't prepare me or make it any easier for me to lose and experience death and grief as a daughter. So take time. As a couple of wise friends, reminded me as I was ready to jump back to work days after I buried my dad, they reminded me that, take the time. Your dad only dies once in your life. So that's what I'm doing. Taking the time. And I'm lucky where I can take the time, but life has to go on at some point. Grief doesn't have an expiration date. It comes when you least expect it, washes over you. It can be something so simple and so insignificant to somebody else, and yet for you, it reminds you of your loved one, whatever that is. Thank you for listening to me.
So you know what I've noticed now that I'm in my mid-60s is that I get easily overwhelmed. So because of that, I have learned to pace myself, and it's okay. And I know how much I could handle, and I'm okay with that.
So I've been seeing a lot of like TikToks of people talking about like things they've learned in their 30s and stuff like that. And my 40th birthday is coming in 2 months. And I was going to do the same thing, but I just have one thing I want to share. Aging is a humbling experience because I'll tell you what, in my teenage years, in my early 20s, mid 20s, even my early 30s, I thought I was going to be different. I looked at older people and I saw their lifestyle and, the things they liked, the things they didn't like. And I'm just like, oh, I'm not going to be that. I'm going to maintain and hold on to the things that make us youthful and vibrant and all that type of stuff. And it's all a lie, y'all. All the partying, all the drinking, all the social activities and all that stuff, it was never sustainable. It was sustainable when we were younger because you had the energy, you had the money, you had the time. But when you get older, priorities shift. Priorities change. And so you have to adjust. And then it also becomes this thing of like, what makes more sense for you as an individual? When you're younger, you're living for everyone else. I'm not saying this is for everybody. Everybody don't do this. But for me, you're living for everyone else. And then there comes a point, it's like, what do I want? I don't want to drink all the time and wake up the next day feeling like shit and feeling dysregulated and depressed and anxious. And you know what I'm saying? Because it's all about the vibe in the moment when everybody's drinking. But then when you're in that bed suffering, where everybody at? In my 20s, I thought I was going to be partying for the rest of my life. I saw how my parents would go to work and come home and cook, and that would be it. They had no social life. And I'm just like, that will not be me. Well, guess what? It will be me. Or at least social activities will be on my terms. It doesn't have to be limited to just going to parties and bars and things like that. Because to me, the experience is overrated and overpriced. So that's just what it boils down to for me. It's a humbling experience. I thought I was special. I thought I was going to defy aging and do something different, and it's just like, no, I'm pretty much going to do the same thing. I want to travel now. I want to spend more time at home. I want to make my home an oasis. Okay, that's what I'm focused on, family and friends. I don't want to be keeping up with the Joneses and spending money frivolously for social media. Like, that shit is boring and it's dumb. It's dumb. But enjoy it while you're young, though. I'm not going to shit on it. I did it too. But yeah, no.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
If you're afraid of aging, I'm going to say something to you that's going to change your entire perspective. Maybe you're in your 20s, 30s, or 40s, and you're just terrified of getting older. The thought of getting older just consumes you. Remember that if you are not aging and getting older, it means you're dead. And aging is a privilege that many don't get to experience. As a family historian, I bet whatever age you're at now, let's say you're 40, that 10 years ago when you were 30, you were having the same thoughts that you're having now. And I bet you're thinking to yourself, ugh, I can't believe I thought I was old when I was 30. Well, when you're 50, you're going to be having those same thoughts that you're having now at 40. Again, just remember that if you're not aging, it means you're not on this earth anymore. So hopefully this changes your mindset on what it means to get older.
As soon as I started to get older, my back started to hurt. And I am still pretty young. I'm still pretty young. But yet I have all of this back pain. So it doesn't even make sense, you know? It doesn't make sense.
So y'all, I'm definitely getting older because why today some teenagers or some young adults piss me off completely. Like, I'm at that age now, all that rah-rah and all that loud, it get on my nerves. I go into the internet store to get some equipment, and it's these girls next to me, and they had to be teenagers or they had to be in their like early 20s. And when I tell you loud, I mean loud. Everybody in their little stations working with their person, with their partner, and they're in the corner just loud. And not only loud, but cussing loud. And that's another thing that really gets on my nerve. Like, I will never just be in public letting F bombs and all that kind of just like come out my mouth just like loud. It's just not class. I don't know. I'm just different. And I just got so uncomfortable, but I was like, I have to remember, like, I used to be that age, and I know how it feels to just be, just doing what you want to do and not really being self-aware. So I did give them some grace. However, Uncle was annoyed. Plus, I just got off work, and I just got done hearing my name 7,000 times, loud noises all day. My head is spinning, so I don't, no. And I mean, when I tell you, I want to emphasize they were loud to the point where I feel like everybody in the store was a little uncomfortable. But yeah, when I see a group of teenagers or a group of like early 20s adults, young adults, I just go the other way. I don't feel like hearing all that. I don't feel like y'all do what you want to do. But Uncle over here, he got sensory issues. I don't want to hear all that.
Take a moment and read this comment. Really read it. Because there is not one of us that's over 40 that I don't think has felt this exact sentiment. Today I'm 51. I am so much more comfortable today than I was at 45. I think in my 40s, I was trying to hold on to this younger version of me. I wanted to look like I used to look, and I was upset and frustrated that things were changing. But at 50, I know I don't look like 30-year-old Kat. I don't look like 40-year-old Kat. I look like a 50-year-old woman that takes really good care of herself, both mentally, physically, skin, body. I really work on this vessel that I've been given, and I take care of it. I treat it with respect and kindness. You want to know the one thing I wish I could change? I wish I could go back to 42. I wish I could go back to 35 and look in the mirror and understand how beautiful I was, how great my skin was, how good I looked, great I felt, because that moment is gone. And this moment is great too. I'm looking and talking to you at 51 years old, knowing I look great. I'm not going to have this skin again, not next year, yet 5 years from now. So much of it starts in here. It's not the skin, it's not the wrinkles, it's your attitude, it's your capacity to really just be okay with yourself. Really, that's inner work.
I don't know what 30-year-old woman needs to hear this, but it is okay that you no longer look 20 years old anymore. It is okay that you are developing fine lines and maybe even wrinkles. It is okay to look like you are aging, because you are. It's okay.
It's absolutely mind-blowing that I, a 23-year-old, 23, have had multiple men tell me that I'm aging out. Aging out of exactly what? I'm not really sure, and I've never really wanted to ask, but that I'm aging out, right? I guess of being sexually desirable. Weird. And especially because this is oftentimes coming from fathers, and they oftentimes have teenage daughters. Less than a decade in between us. Again, I'm aging out. But the craziest part, I just was sitting here and I was like, damn, I'm turning 24. Like, wow, I'm so old. Like, maybe I should hurry things up, I guess. The patriarchy getting to me or whatever. But, y'all, my brain isn't even fully developed. My brain is not fully developed. And I'm sitting over here acting as if my ovaries are turning to dust, when my brain hasn't even fully developed. And I'm being called old. I literally haven't even peaked, and I'm being called old.
How come running errands on your day off is so fucking stressful? Go to the post office, go get an oil change, go to the grocery store. Gotta replace that thing that broke in the house because you just keep putting it off. Go to the mall and Target just to see if they got some shit you might want. They don't got shit you want, but you gotta buy something because you already there. Now you going back home and it's 7:30 at night and you $700 in the hole talking about, yeah, I'm about to go back home and have some wind down time to chill a little bit, maybe even go out a little bit later. At least that's what your mind say, because you are shaking on your way back home. You tired as hell, barely able to fucking keep your eyes open. You be like, all right, let me take a little shower, put on this movie, put on the show. You know what I'm saying? Your ass don't even make it through half of it. Sleep as fuck. And this is just a regular day of running errands. Nothing special. This is a regular day of a regular Saturday, a regular off day of just running errands. This was regular as it gets. Felt like a day of fucking boot camp. And it's not even over because your next day off, you got to do housework. You got to fold all that laundry you've been trying to ignore for the past 2 fucking weeks. And wash the fucking clothes that you ain't washed. I'm ready to check out. I'm ready to check the fuck out.
Stress can age us so dang fast, and it's often something that we don't think about at all. We're putting on the anti-aging lotions, we're getting Botox, we're doing all the things to look our best, but meanwhile we're stressed out 24/7 and we're actually aging from the inside out very quickly. So when I was in my late 20s and I was working as a director of operations in corporate, I was in a very high stress position and I got burnt out. This burnout aged me so quick. And I'm not talking about wrinkles. I'm not talking about the things that we think about aging. I'm talking about chronic inflammation. I'm talking about the systems in my body started to fail. I'm talking about the structure of my body started to fail. And this is happening to so many of us, but we don't really recognize it. And so we just keep in the stress hamster wheel and we don't do anything about it. But here's the thing, it will catch up. So start doing this today. Start noticing when you get really stressed out, and then just have this acknowledgement of every time I sit in a really stressed out state, my body is aging quickly. So I'm going to get out of that state as quickly as possible. Now, the most effective way to get out of a stressed out state is to use your breath to create calm in your body. This is the number one anti-aging tool. I make this joke and I tell all of my clients this, but seriously, when you breathe deeply in and out from your nose, you're actually sending a signal to your body to shift into the parasympathetic mode, which is your rest and digest mode.
The truth about getting old. In my 20s, I could sleep anywhere. I learned how to sleep on a bus just using my jean jacket as a pillow. I could sleep on the hardest mattress or softest mattress in the world, it didn't matter. In my 30s, after I got married, sharing a double bed with my husband wasn't so bad, plenty of room. Then I got to my 40s. Hell yeah, I need a king-size bed when we travel. Are you kidding me? Anything smaller? No way. Then as I moved later into my 40s, it was all about the quality of the mattress and those pillows. If you don't give me the right kind of pillows and the right kind of mattress, I will have a horrible sleep.
The thing for me about getting older is that I'm worse at 30 than I was at 25. Because at 25 I was I really better get my life together. I'd really better do this, this, and this by the time I'm 30. And then I got to 30 and I was I haven't done any of it. Guess what? I'd better not get my life together. I should probably start drinking more. I should probably accomplish less.
You know, one thing that just absolutely sucks about getting older and nobody warns you about, but it's like an unwritten law that it's gonna happen to you no matter what. And I'm only 34 or turning 34, and without fail, no matter how much rest I get, how much sleep, or if I'm eating great, I am just so tired. And I don't mean just tired. I mean, I am always tired. Like as soon as I finish work, I want to go home and lay in bed and relax with my dog and my wife and not move until the next morning. I feel like getting old is kind of just a scam. What the frick? The whole idea of only having 2 days off after working for 5 is also just a big ass scam. Who decided that, yeah, we're gonna be cool with just working 5 days a week and then we only get 2 days off? What the hell? Am I always gonna be this just exhausted? And it's not from cancer or cancer treatments right now. So I'm just trying to figure out how the frick do I not be so tired all the time?
What age did you start feeling older? So I was having a conversation with my mum today. I turn 35 next week and I'm really struggling with it and I don't know why. And I don't think it's so much me. My younger brother turned 30 last week, and for me it really made me feel old. I was like, my baby brother is 30, there's 5 years difference. I'm going to be 35, and societally I'm everywhere I'm meant to be, apart from maybe professionally, but I've been there, done that, happy with where I got in that. I've got kids, I've got a husband, I've got a house, I've got a job. Might not be what I want to do, but I've got a job. But I just sort of feel like I'm not quite middle-aged. I feel like I'm a few years off that, but I also don't feel like I can get away with being young anymore. And I was saying to my mum earlier today, I was like, I sat at a table in a restaurant the other day and there were 2 young people in front of me and they were 18, and I was looking at them going, oh my god, they're so young. I'd have put them at 15, 16. And then I realised that I was 18, nearly 18 years ago. Their whole lifetime has passed since I was 18. And I don't feel sad about it. I just sort of feel like I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I don't know where I'm going. What do I do? What do I do? The world has changed so much. I don't have a career path. I'm struggling. And it seems so silly. There's no reason to feel like that. But You know, I just sort of feel like at 34 I can pass off like, you know, quite cool, but 35 seems like a real turning point. And 40 I'll be fine with, because I'll be like party, but I don't know what it is about 35. Please tell me I'm not alone in this. I feel like I'm not alone in this. Why do I feel like this? Why?
I think that there might be something seriously wrong with me, because I cannot fathom going an entire day without taking a little nappy somewhere in there, you know? I'm like a 6-month-old baby in that I exhaust myself simply by just perceiving the world. Just existing in a moment makes me sleepy. And if I don't take 1 to 2 naps a day, I get full-on brain scramblies, and I'm no good. I'm no good to anyone. The light in my eyes is gone. I'm a walking zombie if I don't get my little nappy.
Morning, it's Patty, and I'm on my way to get Natalie up. She's my 38-year-old daughter with cerebral palsy. And I'm just kind of sitting on my bed here having a moment. I've been getting her up for 38 years and getting her dressed and helping her. And it's starting to be really hard for me to do her cares in the morning. You know, rolling her over in bed to get the sling under her really hurts my hands. I've got a lot of nerve damage in my neck, and my hands have been really painful. So it's like getting older really sucks, especially when there's things you love about your life, like the mornings I spend with my daughter. Now they're kind of painful. I don't want her to know that, but it's hard. I hope you're having a good day. I'm still gonna have a good day. We're gonna have fun. And, but it's just a reality. We're getting older.
No cap, this getting old shit is starting to actually piss me off. I was just thinking to myself, like, damn, like, I miss the days, like, where I just had to, you know, get up and not have to worry about shit. What do you mean? Like, all I had to focus on was coloring, riding my bike around, trying to figure out where the fuck I'm going around town. Now I gotta worry about bills. I gotta worry about making money so I survive in this bitch. Like, survival is already hard as fuck. Like, what? Not to mention, I'm always tired as fuck. Like before, I used to be able to just do this shit. Run in circles all fucking day. I'll go backwards. Now I'm ready to take a nap. Good night.
I just had this thought that I just need to express out loud. This time of year, so many of us get burned out because we have been doing the whole year. But it's something about this last quarter of the year when you go from Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas to New Year's, right? And with Thanksgiving, a lot of it falls on the woman, where she prepares this big old meal, all the fixing, all the things. And then we're right back at Christmas. But then the woman, for the most part, or the mom, what have you, is buying the gifts, right? Going to shop for the gifts, wrapping the gifts. And then it's just a lot from one holiday to the next. And I'm over it. Like, I'm really tired of it. And I don't think all this should fall on a woman. Like, I just don't. And I know that there's some men that are out there that they do all the cooking and they do all the shopping. But it's rare. For the most part, it's the woman doing it. And I just feel like, why? And I'm over it. And so for dinner tomorrow, we're going to a Chinese restaurant. And I'm excited about that. And we did it last year where we ordered takeout. But this year, we're actually going to a restaurant, my kids and I. And I'm looking forward to it. And I just want to chill. And that's it. And even when it came to gifts, I'm like, I'm not doing all of that because capitalism. And so, I don't know. That's just something that's on my mind. I would love to know what y'all feel as we get towards the end of the year. I am in reflection mode, so I've been thinking a lot about this year and what I want next year to look like. And I'm doing all my work around that. But I'm telling you one thing. I'm like, I'm over it. And even when it comes to the cleaning, it's like, oh, we got to clean all the things. It's just a lot. It is a lot. And I'm like, when did this become our task to do everything? I would love to know your thoughts in the comments.
Good morning, TikTok. So I am coming today with something a little bit different. I know I'm usually on here making wacky or funny, or maybe they're not funny, TikToks, but I just wanted to come on here and just be a little bit more transparent. Because honestly, these past couple of days, I've been really struggling, just overall, like mentally struggling in life. And I just wanted to get on here, talk to all my ladies, especially us ladies who are above 40. I know things can just get harder as we age. I'm 45, and I have been single for over 7 years, or about to be 7 years since my husband passed away. My son's dad, my husband's about 7 years ago. So the struggle has been really real, but Particularly this weekend was hard, or these past few days were hard. And it's just been a struggle. I think I've also been struggling a little bit, like self-esteem wise. I think as you age and get older, you start to realize, like you're not always the pick, right? Like I think that's been a little bit of a struggle for me. Just, and part of my singleness has been around just not really having a lot of suitors. I don't even know if we use the word suitors anymore. Like where did that even come from? Anyways, but that doesn't help as we get older with our women and their self-esteem. And I don't think a lot of people talk about this. I don't think a lot of people talk about women as we age, what we go through from a self-esteem perspective, I guess. Especially for women, and not to negate anybody else's feelings, but I think especially for women who have kind of all of their lives been labeled as like the pretty one, like you're so pretty, right? And I would also just caution any parents out there who do that to their daughters. I grew up as the pretty one, right? And as you get older, pretty fades, right? Pretty goes away. It's not always going to be around, right? And as you get older as a woman and you start to look back, and the younger generation is coming up and they're young and beautiful and all that, it's a struggle. So just, wanted to get on here, and I don't mean to ramble, but to get on here and just talk through some things that women go through that maybe you may know someone, especially as older women. We have to band together. We have to talk about these things. We have to find ways to identify those issues when they happen. I love social media. I am a social media girl, so I like to get on here and talk and just be on here, I guess. But that's just really what I've been going through the past couple of days. And trying to find ways to stay focused on, the good things in my life, But as far as like dating, I think what's so hard for me is living in a predominantly, I would say, Caucasian area, white area. And when you're not white, you're not the pick, right? So it's not that I am unattractive. It's just that when you're in an area that's predominated by a different race, you're not naturally their pick, right? So I don't get the looks, and I don't get hit on. So that also plays into the struggle of dating and my self-esteem and all that good stuff. So I know I need to do a little bit better around finding ways to get out in my community and find different things to be involved in. It's really hard with my son and being a single mom, getting out and dating and all that good stuff. So I haven't done a really good job at it, and I'm not blaming anybody else. I know a lot of that lies on me. But also I know I get into these funks that I've been in, and especially this past weekend has been a bit of a funk. But I am trying, or this past week, but I'm trying to get out of it. I'm trying to work through some of those issues I have around dating, have around aging and getting older. I have a struggle right now because my hair is going through like a transition because I damaged it a couple of weeks ago. And then me and my relationship with hair, or my hair, has always been really hard. I think women really identify their beauty based on some superficial things like their hair, their eye color, their makeup, their body, right? And so when you get attached to a look or attached to something that is no longer that, transitioning into a different look is very hard, right? So my hair, I've had to cut about 6 inches off of my hair. I'm having to start the regrowth phase to get back into a healthy state, which takes time. So for someone who, for one, really loves long hair, for two, doesn't already have a lot of different looks when it comes to doing my hair. I don't really know how to do a lot of different styles on my hair. I've been kind of like thrown back into a lower self-esteem because I'm also struggling with like, what am I doing with my hair now that it's not the way it was just a few weeks ago? So all of these things can, come together and just cause this whirlwind of emotions and affects you mentally. The other thing for me, I know I'm like dumping a lot of this into one video, is my struggle kind of like with working out and like wanting my body to be a certain way that it's not. So I work out a lot. Like I work out, 4 to 5 days a week. I run, I do cardio exercises, I do calisthenics, I do weightlifting, I do all those things, and I don't see the results that I would love to see. I know I'm really healthy. I love the fact that I'm healthy. But as a woman and as an aging woman or a woman that's getting older, you put in a lot of effort, but you don't get as much return. And I think that's where a lot of people struggle. Like, if I go on my diet and I'm gonna diet, I'm gonna eat well, I only lost 1 or 2 pounds. And it's like, well, I'm doing all this work, I'm giving up and sacrificing so much and only seeing very minimal results. So all of those struggles have been kind of like combining and working against me. So I've been trying to just find ways to kind of get out of my funk and stay out of like a negative mindset, because I know that's part of what brings you down. And, you know, being alone is really hard because you don't have anybody to talk to about these things. They just kind of all bottle up and they just, you know, they just kind of sit there and live in there. But I'm gonna try to do better. I know, like, I've been back on the dating sites to try to get that reactivated. Again, I think the hardest thing is like opening up my mind to dating, like maybe outside of my race, or just because of the area that I'm in. I have an affinity for, obviously, Black men, but it's very, very sparse in the area that I'm in. So that's been a little bit of a struggle. So, you know, but I have been back on there to try to, you know, get that started again and maybe go on some dates and get out there. I still continue to work out. I'm even considering doing some other options like getting a personal trainer, or having more kind of more targeted goals for what I'm trying to achieve. And then as far as my hair, it's just something I'm gonna have to go through. It's a longer process. You know, my hair, thank God, it grows really fast. I'm very thankful. But it still takes time, and I'm gonna have to grow out that damage before I start to see my natural hair come back in. But that's just a little bit for today. And also, I think TikTok has shadow banned me, but whatever. We're not gonna talk about that. But again, I just wanted to connect with all those beautiful women out there who may be struggling, who are aging, who are getting older. Even if you're young and you're dealing with some of these things, find your outlet. Mine is social media. It's all I have. You know, I don't really have a big friend group out here, or haven't connected yet with a big friend group out here, and obviously don't have a partner. So if you have a partner, if you have a therapist, if you have someone, talk with them, let them know how things are going for you, and just make sure you try to stay focused on the positive. And you allow yourself to be in the funk, but then allow yourself to get out of that funk. And that's what I'm trying to do this weekend. So again, thank you all for listening. And I know this is a really long video, but all right, guys, love you. Bye.
This is a reality for a lot of beautiful women. This is it. Your beauty will fade. So please, for the love of God, make sure that your self-worth is not tied to just your looks alone. Because when that fades, then what?
Here's a cool thing since becoming an adult is you're always tired. And no matter how much sleep you get, you're gonna be tired. You're gonna wake up tired and think about having another sleep for your sleep. You're eventually gonna try and fix this with coffee, and that'll be cool. That'll last a little bit. Eventually ramping up the coffees to about 10 a day, and guess what? You're still gonna be tired. Weekends are gonna be spent thinking about sleeping and organizing your sleep. You'll be canceling plans to sleep because the older you get, the more tired you get, until you are just sleeping all the time. I guess that's, you know, death. That's what being old is about. Anyway, have a good day. Enjoy getting old.
If you're a little bit or a lot of bit afraid of aging, this is for you. I'm 60 and my 50s were so fantastic. I didn't think a moment that I would ever age. Like, your 50s are your peak, your prime. You still have tons of energy. Yeah, you're going through menopause, but you're also starting to empty your nest at home and kind of see your future in front of you, which is a really sort of empowering, energizing thing. I think you really got to drill down and ask yourself, what about aging am I afraid of? For most women that I see on TikTok, Instagram, they're talking about losing their looks. And it is so much more than that. Aging is a state of energy. So maybe you're afraid of losing your energy and your desire and your motivation. Maybe you're afraid of becoming invisible. Maybe you're afraid of your demise in an old folks home, or afraid of bad health outcomes. You have to sort of drill down and figure out, what's the piece that I'm fixated on most? Let me tell you, if you feed and fuel your fears about aging, if you get sucked into feeling like you gotta sustain your beauty for the rest of your life, like, that is so on the surface. There's so much more at play. But if you're fixated on that and you're feeding that fear, you're going to have a horrible aging experience. I just guarantee it.
Being in your late 20s does not mean that you're old.
I felt the need to say this because a lot of my friends in their late 20s are just claiming this old thing. Like, what? When you're 40 years old, you're gonna look back and be like, damn, like I wish I was 26, 27, 28, 29. I feel like millennial generation kind of just gave up on themselves. Like, I know adulting is hard, but relax. Like, be more youthful. Like, perk yourself up. Don't just diminish yourself into this, I'm old. Because, girl, when you're 40, 45, what are you really gonna be saying at that time? You're gonna be like, damn, like, I could just touch 29 again. And I just feel like also, like, the more you claim being so old, like, the older you look, the older you act. Like, people nowadays are so scared of aging. It's a beautiful thing. Be grateful.
I found out something this morning in the most unfortunate way. My body will not wake up before 8:30. Not happening. You will not get me out of bed before 8:30. I had to work at 10:30, and we were supposed to wake up at 8 to go pick up his car. Woke up at 10:26. I made it to work at 10:29. But what the fuck? If I try to wake up at 8:30, I'm not going to wake up until 12. If I try to wake up at 9, I will wake up at 9. Fine, no problem. But it's like my body is punishing me for trying to wake it up early, so it's going to sleep in later. Explain that.
I drank enough water today. Yeah, but you didn't get enough sleep. Okay, well, it's small victories. You also didn't stretch before you slept, so now you can't turn your head all the way to the left. Why does my lower back hurt? That is also because you didn't stretch. Why do I feel so excited that it's rained for the first time in a long time? That's because you're over 30. Oh, don't say it. Don't say it. The plants are going to love this. Now that you're getting older, you're going to use cliches every time it rains. That's not true. Nobody knows how to drive in the rain. You're also going to constantly be depressed and angry because you're going to remember how simple your childhood was and how complex your life is now. It's very frustrating for you. Okay, but yeah, I'm never going to be able to afford a house. I swear, the world is ending. Yeah, that one might be fair. That one might be fair. But look, if you cut out Starbucks for 10 years, you still won't have enough to buy a house. So just keep buying your coffee in the morning.
So it's like, I'm tired of being an adult, but at the same time, I don't want to be a kid again. And that's because it's like, mostly as an adult, I feel like everything that I thought I understood, I really don't understand, which that's confusing within itself. And so I guess ultimately adulthood is, I just need to be adult about it.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.